I feel like some people are in discussions that they should have been left out of. Like their popularity has kept them relevant more so than what they've actually produced. And I also think that you also got some players who their popularity is just as great as their greatness on the court. Like, for instance, in today's time, you got Steph Curry, who I feel like his popularity and greatness evens out well. You got LeBron, who greatness and popularity evens out. Even as much flack as I get as dude, but even a KD, his popularity and greatness equals out well. But then you have some guys who I feel like either the greatness weighs on one end of the scale higher than the other, or the popularity is higher and the greatness doesn't match up with it. And you kind of hinted towards an example I'm gonna use. In one sense, I've never looked at a Paul George as a great player. He had potential to become one. And I know we talk about the injury, but I feel like before the injury, the last thing I remember about Paul George was he's a real good player.
I will push back on that because he could have been a great player and he still got some accolades that make it seem like he's a great player. 8-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 4-time All-Defense, still champ.
I know he's a Hall of Famer, but it's tiers in the Hall of Fame system. I'm not saying he's going to be a bottom tier. He may be just a mid-tier Hall of Fame player. But for
But I'm
Hall of
saying,
Fame standards, that's not bad. It
yeah,
sounds bad because some people are like, man, no, you don't understand. I watched him. I watched him from the game of basketball from a grown man's perspective. So I got a good feel for what Paul George was. Like, we watched the same amount of Paul George. You probably watched him in college or him in high school more than I did. Before as
okay.
pro basketball,
So where does Vince Carter fall on this spectrum?
his popularity outweighs his greatness.
Okay, I'm just making sure because it's a lot of dudes.
Same with
So
TMac. I love man. You know I'm gonna defend TMac, but TMac's popularity, I know what TMac could have been, but when TMac was healthy and in his prime, it's a lot of times he could have got it done, and he didn't. He didn't get it done.
I would say T-Max matches up. I mean, because when his accolades pretty much match up,
We got to
a
get away from
great
just
player.
accolades. We got to start talking about what actually was produced.
But at one point in T-Mac's career, did you say, "Oh yeah, he gonna win a championship this year"? Oh, he should win a
It
championship
ain't
this year.
about winning championships. It's the fact that he never got out the first round ever. And when he
When did
finally
you
got
feel
the
like he
first
was
round, he was
supposed to get out the
riding the
first round?
bench. He was up 3. Was
Because
he not? Was he not up against that Detroit team?
man, ain't
He
nobody
could have
even
put
know
that.
he was gonna be
He
up 3-1.
he could have put that Detroit team to rest then before they even got started.
We just sat up here on an episode not too long ago, and we was talking about how that Orlando Magic team was not up to par with a team that should even been in the conversation of beating that Pistons team.
But T-Mac was so much greater than everybody else in that court. They was up 3-1.
I'm not finna just put that on T-Mac like he should have won that series. Because if you gonna do it like that, then you should say Kobe should have beat the Phoenix Suns.
Do we not say that? Do Kobe still not get
Man,
flack for that?
I feel like the best team is gonna most likely 9 times out of 10 win the best out of 7-game series.
I'm saying, do Kobe not catch flack for that? Giving up a 3-1 lead.
When the last time we done heard somebody just say, man, Kobe gave up that 3-1 lead in the first round?
Get into an all-time debate about Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, or just any debate about Kobe, and that's the one thing they're going to always bring up. He blew a 3-1 lead, and he gave up in Game 7 in the second half.
Who's some guys that greatness outweigh their popularity on the other side?
Paul Pierce.
Come on, bro.
So you don't think his greatness?
Paul Pierce, no, they underachieved. We not gonna act like Paul Pierce did not underachieve. They underachieved. So we get to the point now where you get one championship, then everything gets swept under the rug. He had a career before KG got to Boston. He didn't get it done. Then he had a super team. They only got one.
Hold on a second, though. Did he not get to Eastern Conference Finals before they got there?
In a weak East, and then he was losing to Jason Kidd.
Was his team not weak?
I mean, you had another dude averaging 20 plus. When
and then everybody else,
everybody on the New Jersey Nets was averaging under 16.
That dude had Tony Delk on his team as starting point guard.
But I'm not gonna say you can't beat the New Jersey Nets pre-Vince Carter. I'm not gonna hear that. They had a young
that same New Jersey Nets team took what's they called Spurs to 7, didn't they?
and they got
No, they got
swept.
no. I didn't. No, I didn't. No,
Yeah, they got
I'm
swept.
getting it confused with Detroit.
They got swept.
But they got
I'm
to
just
the
saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying that East was so weak that I'm not gonna sit here and give Paul Pierce no flack because he had the second best player in my opinion. And
No,
Jason,
you forgetting about how good King Martin was.
he was better than Antoine Walker.
Let's go look at them series. That's gonna tell the
Saying,
story.
I'm just saying when I try to give Steve Nash credit for getting to the conference finals, he lost. That was your main argument point against Steve
You
Nash.
talking about a 2-time MVP versus somebody who was just a okay, yeah, you an all NBA level player. Of course, you're gonna be held to higher standards. What
But
MVP has been?
you said Paul Pierce's greatness outweighs his popularity. I don't think that's true. He's properly rated on both spectrums, in my opinion. Yeah,
No,
how
I'm
you
not.
think he should be talked about?
No,
Paul Pierce shouldn't come up in every basketball conversation. He was,
I'm saying every conversation he comes up in, he's disrespected. I'm saying I'll be like, bro, y'all be acting like Paul
how?
Pierce
That's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
great.
How is he disrespected? If he didn't have that championship, Paul Pierce wouldn't even make NBA 75. Let's keep it a book. If he didn't win that one championship, he would make NBA 75. It got to be guys like Tracy McGrady. I think Tracy McGrady probably could have been NBA 75. Dwight Howard should have been NBA 75. Klay Thompson. Like these is guys.
So if Paul Pierce wouldn't have made it, do you still think that Dame had a reason to make it over him?
If you take away Paul Pierce championship, you think he's better than Dame? And you answer that.
You forget he still went to 2 finals. So let's say he lost that finals, he
He
still
went
went
to
to two
two
though.
conference finals.
No, you said take away his finals. So you saying he lost or he didn't make it at all? If you
Now I'm
take away
saying
it.
pre-super team with KG and Ray Allen, would he still
So
make the NBA 75? He only
so
made the NBA
hold
75
on a
because
sec.
the super
Because
team.
before the super team, he still played a lot of years in the league. So you taking away all those years and stopping his career right there?
No, I'm saying
So what we say? No, I'm saying
if
how
Paul
you
Pierce,
what is his
if Paul
what
Pierce
is it?
never got the accolades he got with the super team because he was on pace to not get any more conference finals appearances or nothing, none of that. People wouldn't have been looking at Paul Pierce how they look at him now. It's like that one ring boosted Paul Pierce more than it would have
It's the
boosted
fact.
anybody
It's the
else.
fact how he got the ring though. Even though it was a super team, granted, it's the fact that he got it over the best player in the league during that time. And
Oh,
arguably at that time, they was trying to compare Kobe to Jordan. So it's like, okay, this dude, the best player on this team, just beat the guy we comparing to Jordan. So they're gonna run with that narrative like, man, Paul Pierce may be greater than what we've been
man, and that's what
showcasing.
I'm saying. That I'm saying that shit is capped. I feel like Paul Pierce is a good player. He's a
And
good
you
player,
also got to remember that
great
Paul
player.
Pierce was the guy that made people say it was the big three, but it was really Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was cooking LeBron in the playoffs and made him go form his own super team.
I'm just
And even when
saying.
he got his super team, Paul Pierce was still cooking.
I weigh Paul Pierce with a grain of salt because I feel like people is using they're covering up a lot of shit just using it. Oh, he got that championship, Finals MVP. If you give Dame a championship Finals MVP, Dwight Howard championship Finals MVP, they're better than Paul Pierce immediately just with
But
that
but that's
one
the thing. You
accolade.
can't just get what Dwight Howard do got the ring, but he don't got the MVP. But that's the thing
He
though.
was
You can't just
that's the guy though.
you
He
can't just
was.
get you can't. But then again, Dwight Howard the next year after they won their finals,
Dwight Howard, come
Orlando
on,
them
Ray,
beat them.
player for player,
No,
man.
so Orlando beat them
That's what I'm
in the
saying.
playoffs.
So Dwight Howard, in my opinion, is greater than Paul Pierce. Tracy McGrady, in my opinion, is greater than Paul Pierce. Damian Lillard, in my opinion, is greater than Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce just has two things going for him. He won a ring and Finals MVP with a super team, and he's a Boston Celtic man. If this nigga was doing the same exact shit as an Atlanta Hawk and he wouldn't have got a championship, then that's what I'm saying. Would his resume be
I
NBA
don't know
75
that
without a championship?
them Atlanta
Is
Hawks
it
could have used a
is
player like Paul
is
Pierce during
it,
them late
it
2000s.
is Paul Pierce resume without that championship still NBA 75?
He Hall of Famer.
See, that's not my question.
You don't think he a Hall of Famer?
Is Paul Pierce NBA 75 without a championship? In your
Probably not.
opinion? That's the difference between somebody like him, Dame, him, and Steve Nash, and guys like that. Regardless if they won or not, their individual resume, even Carmelo Anthony, despite winning or not, they were so great that you have to put them on the 75 greatest
KG
players
was
to
still
ever
gonna be there
play
though.
without. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say popularity versus greatness. I feel like Paul Pierce is damn near the perfect blend, man. Like I feel like he kind of got a little bit of a boost, in my opinion,
I
because of
mean, we
that
knew who
championship and
Paul
because
Pierce
who he
was.
is.
He that dude. You like, man. He nice, but then he come with a fancy car. Like, man, hey man, you remember I put in that good word for you. That was
Yeah,
Paul Pierce.
he'd have been in the
Everybody
same
started fake
category as
acting like
Chris
they
Webber
been
now,
already
man.
messing with dude.
Yeah, real. See that's all I'm trying to get you to say, because it's like I feel like you trying to say he's a guy that's not viewed as how he's supposed to. Yes, he is. Man. He
So
actually got
hold
a
on a
boost.
second. So you telling me when the Lakers faced off in that first finals against Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen, you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know who Paul Pierce already was?
Just because I knew who he was, I know who
No,
Chris
I'm talking.
Webber
You didn't know
is.
who he was as a player. Like you didn't know, like man, this dude is a problem. You didn't know that.
If, I did, but I'm saying so was Chris Webber. We all knew Chris Webber was a problem, right?
But who he faced off in the finals?
He didn't get to a finals,
Oh,
but he also didn't play on a super team either. That's what I'm saying. That super team is what boosted Paul Pierce and what gave him an NBA 75 resume.
what was the Kings
That's what
not
I'm saying.
favored to win in that series against the Lakers?
I mean, shit, they could have, and they probably should have won. But I'm saying
They
Paul
was number one
Pierce
team in the
was
league that
on
year.
a super team. He was on a team that we all knew he was going to end up getting a championship. Did nobody look at that Celtics team like, well, I don't know. Maybe they could. No, we looking at their roster when they had assembled the team like they are supposed to win.
People thought Kings was winning all that year, man. That's all I'm saying. That 0-2 when Robert Horry hit that dagger.
Man, all I'm saying, you get what I'm saying though, Ray. Paul
Appreciate
Pierce
you, RC.
benefit. Paul Pierce benefited from winning that goddamn ring in the time he wanted
He
on the
did.
team he wanted with. And we would not be viewing him the same if he didn't have a super team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And
So
so in my
who would you think best like who is the best example of they got the greatness but the popularity don't match up? Who would you put right there? I thought Paul Pierce was a great example. He's not that popular. Come on, man. Draymond Green was disrespecting him, and Draymond Green is not on Paul Pierce level. That's what I'm
it's
talking
going
about. Like,
it's
bro, how you lesser than
it's going
me and you trying to disrespect me?
it's going to really you go look at me in some type of way, but I think somebody like Joe Dumars. You the second best player on a team that went to multiple championships and won multiple championships. You on 2 championship teams and you got a Finals MVP. And yeah, shout out RC. Chris Webber is a great example as well. Chris Webber, hey, he was sticking in there with Shaq and Kobe, and he was the clear cut alpha on his team. You know, you had other guys doing their thing or whatever. But no,
He had a short stint of if he would have did that throughout his whole career, because he fell short a lot of times. Where he's like, come on, Chris Webber, you better than that. He had some moments where he was like, okay, man, this is the greatness that we've been waiting for out of you, Chris Webber. And he had other moments where he stank it up. So he wasn't consistent enough to fit that mold, in my opinion.
man, that dude almost averaged 21 and 10 for his career in 4
Oh no,
seasons.
I'm not taking nothing away from his career. I know he's an all time great. When you look at his numbers, he can be viewed as one.
I,
Uh,
I think Chris Bosh
Chris
sacrificed
Bosh,
his
I think so.
individual greatness.
He sacrificed too much for him to be. He still, I
Yeah,
mean, he had great moments versus being a great player. I think that's
he yeah, but I still think he a great player. But he will never be getting that recognition because he was the third fiddle on a great team. It wasn't like he not getting that first, second option love on a great team. Yeah. But Chris Bosh, 11-time All-Star. He made
No, you want to know? You want to know the
I guess.
perfect example for that greatness in Moses Malone?
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. Moses Malone, yeah. 3
People saying, what's your top 10 centers? They be like, so. And did I say Moses? Moses. I'm like, he should not be the last one to come to mind when you thinking about that number 10 player.
Hey, Moses Malone is another great one. I ain't gonna care. That's a perfect one. Moses Malone. Let me list off his resume real quick. So, Moses Malone is a 13-time All-Star, 6-time rebound champ, 8-time All-NBA, 2-time All-Defense, 3-time MVP, and he got a Finals MVP in 82-83. So, I think Moses Malone the best player that don't get talked about. He the greatest player that don't get talked about. 3 MVPs. That is ridiculous. So I give you that one. Moses Malone, that's perfect, right? But I think Joe Dumars, Chris Webber, like, okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Number one option, MVP level guy that don't get talked about, his greatness outweighs his popularity, Moses Malone. A second option that don't get talked about where his greatness outweighs his popularity, Joe Dumars, in my opinion. And then a great player that didn't win but was dominant at his peak, Chris Webber.
I'll say Bob McAdoo, multiple scoring champ. I want to say he got multiple MVPs. He won. He did win one, but he was a role player by that point with the Lakers.
He got 3 scoring titles. That's where he really was doing his thing. He got 1 MVP but 3 scoring titles.
Okay.
See, yeah, Bob McAdoo is a good one. That's a good one. I think Clyde Drexler too. He another guy that people.
I think it. Shoot, I mean,
people don't even. No, people skip him like a motherfucker in the all-time shooting guard.
I mean, you got to realize he was. You know how many great shooting guards came out in the late '90s, in the 2000s era? Of course, his name was gonna get skipped over. Like, but people know what he. If you ask, people don't know more about Reggie Miller than they do Clyde Drexler. Heck no, depending on what era you talking to. If you was born in the 60s or 70s, you know who Clyde Drexler is. Like, come on, man.
Oh, RC say Mitch Richmond.
Man,
you could throw in DeMar. I think DeMar Derozan is underrated for this era. Because how many ECFs he went to with Toronto? Did they only go
man, how many was he underperforming is the real question. If he played just 20% better, they would have got to the finals at least once when he's with the Raptors. It's like they used to just be scared of LeBron. Him and Larry just started folding. Bismack Biyombo used to have more heart than them.
But Ray, we can't act like DeMar Derozan. Like, people don't talk about DeMar Derozan damn near. I see what you're saying, but man, he's still a great player.
No, some people get left behind. It ain't that you don't get talked about, you get left behind. You left too much on the table.
Richmond, that's a good one.
But after he left Golden State, his career kind of slowly started going downhill. I mean, he still had some all-star years with the Kings, but his best years was with Golden State. That was his best chance of winning basketball.
Chris Mullin, Kim Hardaway, some of them type of dudes.
Ron TMC.
Like, they got like 5+ All NBAs and shit like that. I ain't gonna stun. Once the niggas started getting into them All NBAs, like, you get like 5+ All NBAs, that means you was a top 15 player multiple years. So, but we can really move on now, bro, because LeBron was getting LeBron. But it's like, damn, like Debo, he really was a shooting guard. Like, you can't match him up with no LeBron.
It was just the fact that LeBron had their whole team just shook. I'm like, bro, no. Y'all got to show LeBron, like, y'all here too.
But listen, the block don't teach expressing yourself. They tell you spread your wings, don't share your wealth. The poison mind of an adolescent is mad depressing. Nothing more dangerous than an empty mind in a crowded section. Don't come half-stepping.